What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are diving into one of the most fearsome characters in Street Fighter 6, Zangief. If you want to strike fear into your opponents, you're in the right place. Whether you're new to Street Fighter 6 or just looking to add a secondary character to your roster, Zangief is an absolute blast to play. So let's jump right into it. On his strengths and weaknesses, Zangief has the biggest body out of everyone on the roster. You know what they say, big body equals big damage. Zangief can output damage fairly easily due to his short combo strings and SPD, which is his command grab, being one button on modern. He also has the highest HP at 11,000, so 1,000 more than normal characters and 2,000 more than Akuma. His level 3 is a grab, so it beats block and they have to preemptively jump it in order to dodge it. Since we're on modern, reacting with a level 3 that is also a grab is insanely strong since it's readily accessible. Because SPD does so much damage and Zangief is a grappler, people would think that you always want to throw, which allows you to play the mind games with them, and that leads to good strike through game for you as well. A last big strength Zangief has is people want to dodge your SPD so bad they would want to jump, right? Well, guess what? You also have air SPD for those cases. Now onto his weaknesses. Since he is a big scary man, he walks very slowly to compensate for it, which makes it hard for you to approach your opponent, especially since he doesn't have a neutral skipping tool that lets him fly across the screen like Marissa with Superman Punch. This is one of the main reasons why people don't like playing big body characters, and because he's slow, he relies on Drive Rush a lot for finishing his combos and chasing down his opponent, so you will have to manage your drive gauge carefully if you want to avoid burnout. Zangief doesn't really have that many reversal options. You really only have his super art as his reversal, but his level 1 can't even hit ground opponents, so level 1 isn't really a defensive reversal option, and Lariat only has anti-air invuln, so that's not really a reversal option either, which leave us with level 2 and 3, and level 2 has an 18 frame startup, which is quite slow, so yeah, his options are quite limited for reversals. And although Lariat has anti-air invulnerability, it might also look like he is spinning to cover both sides of his body, but it actually doesn't hit behind him, so you can still get hit by a cross-up even though you're spinning. It is pretty dumb, and is quite slow with a 15 frame startup. These are all his missing normals and command normals if you're gonna play him on modern. As always, feel free to pause the video if you need to take a longer look. The most notable thing that Zangief loses for modern are standing medium kick and crouching medium kick. These are great poking tools and are quite safe from drive impact, but we don't have it. And also, crouching medium kick is a very strong Oki tool, pretty useful after drive rush cancel as well for some combo strain, but yeah, we don't have it. Sucks to be us. And additionally, standing heavy kick is also used in some classic combo routes, so yeah, we just don't have those combos available for us. But I think it's a fair trade-off for a one button SPD, otherwise it will be quite stupid for modern Zangief, even though modern Zangief is pretty strong already in my opinion. Another important thing to note about modern Zangief is his level 1 is actually hard-coded to do less damage than classic, and it has a history of having a funky hitbox just like Marissa's level 2, so prepare yourself if you want to use it to hit airborne or anti-air with it. You can watch my latest shorts to see my experience with Marissa's level 2 against Akuma's air fireball, even after the season 2 buffs to the hitboxes. Go see it for yourself, and you might never use it for anti-airing. For Zangief's anti-air game, you don't have a DP, but you have something called Lariat, which you can access through down and special. But since you're already pressing 2 buttons, Lariat is also only just 2 buttons for regular input, which you can access by medium and heavy at the same time. So instead of using down special and take a 20% damage penalty for using the modern shortcut, you can just do medium heavy to get 100% of the damage. If you need to access the OD version, you press all 3 buttons, light, medium, and heavy. This is your go-to anti-air option. I know I mentioned that it doesn't hit behind him, so you can get hit by cross-ups and whatnot, but it is still your go-to anti-air move. It's fast enough if you react soon enough with your regular DP timing, and it has anti-air invulnerability. So it doesn't matter whether they press a button in the air or not. As long as they jump, you pressed it, then as long as it's not a cross-up, you will get your anti-air. But other than that, your other anti-air option would be Air SPD, which you can jump and access it with the special button for quick access, or you can also do down heavy as your anti-air option, which just like any down heavy, it has its downside, which is you can get stuff like that if you're a little bit late because it doesn't have anti-air vulnerability, you know? So yeah, your go-to option, Lariat, try to use the medium heavy button for your regular Lariat instead of down special so you don't take the damage penalty for using the modern shortcut, and down heavy if you're a little bit early, or you can also just use Air SPD for your anti-air option. The last one is jump back medium kick. It's pretty good. It's also good for jump in because it has a lot of downward trajectory for the hitbox. So those will be your 4 anti-air tool that you have as Zangief. Let's go over some of his useful buttons in neutral. The first one being the chopping block, which is his standing medium punch. This is a target combo, it's 3 hits. The first hit on block is -2, so if you drive rush with it, you're +2. Very good. And if you use it, the second hit, if you stop at the second hit, it's a frame trap. So even if they block it, it doesn't matter whether they use crouching light punch for 4 frame. It's a punish counter, it doesn't even reach anyway, but let's say they recognize that the 4 frame jab is not gonna reach, they use a crouching medium kick. It's still gonna beat it. So it is a very good poking tool and it has a lot of range. The downside of it is, as you see, Zangief doesn't turn color, unlike other normal. This is other cancel normal. So as you can see, Zangief doesn't turn into red, so he doesn't get to cancel into like special or anything. So this is very vulnerable to DI if you throw this out a lot, and especially if you commit to the second hit to try to frame trap them. If you use the second hit a lot and they notice the pattern, they're just gonna DI you and you're just gonna eat the DI and then get full combo afterward. And you don't want that. So use this wisely, don't over spam it, but it is very good neutral tool to check the space and to just check the space and chip the drive gauge, because it actually does decent amount of chip damage to the drive gauge. You can see one chop is half, like the first chop is half of their drive bar already, so 2 chop, almost a whole bar, so pretty good for poking. And then the second one is standing light kick, which it has decent range too. As you can see, it goes almost as far, or actually further, than standing medium punch, if not further. But since it's a light button, it's faster, right? As you can see, the startup frame is 7, so it's good for checking lows, and it's good to use as a whiff punishing tool if they whiff any low buttons, let's say a sweep or anything that is like crouching medium kick, for example, right? So that's what this button is good for. And then the next one we're going to go over is this crouching jab, which it is not a full frame compared to a lot of other characters, the crouching light is not a 4-frame, but he does have a 4-frame button, and we'll get into it just in a little bit. But since this is not a 4-frame, is because Zangief only has 1 4-frame buttons. But we also didn't go over standing medium or standing light punch, is because we don't get access to standing light punch on modern Zangief unless we combo into it from other light buttons. So how do you access standing light punch? Is after any light button like crouching light jab here or the standing light kick, you can press the neutral light and it will turn into standing light punch. Because regular standing light button is the standing light kick, so if you do crouching light jab into standing light or neutral light, then it will be standing light jab. That's the only way you can get it. And the good thing about that is if you chain into standing light punch, or you just keep chaining crouching light jab, is true block strength. So they can't reversal you out of it, right? That's the usefulness of crouching light jab. Additionally, crouching light jab is +1 on block, as you can see. So if you drive rush and crouching light jab, you +5, right? And this is basically a strike throw mix-up. If you use it close enough. It has a lot of pushback, so you need to be careful whether you are in range for grab or not. Otherwise, you can just keep chaining into lights and you will still be safe from like any kind of reversal. The next one I'm gonna go over is crouching medium punch. This is a very counter poke button because the hitbox is actually further horizontally than your hurtbox. So you're gonna hit them first before they can hit you with the hurtbox, right? So this is a very good counter poke tool, and normally on block is -1, as you can see here. So if you drive rush, this is +3. This is a very good approaching tool because it's very far reaching compared to crouching jab, right? Crouching jab, although it's cancelable and you can cancel into other things, but it's not as long reaching as crouching medium punch. So your go-to drive rush option is gonna be this, crouching medium punch. And if this hits, should turn that off. If this hits, you can chain it into lariat, right? And then you can get a knockdown and you can set up Oki from there. It is shorter than standing medium punch, so standing medium punch is also a very good tool for drive rush option, but this is cancelable, so you're safe from any kind of drive impact. That's why you would pick and choose which option you would use to go along with drive rush, whether it's crouching jab, crouching medium punch, or standing medium, right? Depending on the range you're gonna try to get into or they allow you to get into, okay? And one of the last things we're gonna go over is this, crouching light kick. You remember that we talked about Zangief having a 4-frame button? This is it. Your 4-frame button is locked behind the auto light button, okay? It is +0, as you can see, even on hit. So imagine how much worse it is on block. It's -3. You're still safe, but not the greatest frame data for a 4-frame button for us. And since it's +0, it's not great. You can't really do much out of it. So if you ever land this, just go into your auto combo. Just remember to hold forward button so your lariat can hit. Okay, otherwise your lariat might whiff like this if you don't hold forward. And because it's gonna go straight into standing light punch, so if you're max range on your crouching light kick, your standing light punch will most likely whiff as well. So keep that in mind when you use this. Use this to like punish any kind of low buttons that you need to quickly punish that requires like a quick button, like a 4 frame instead of 7 frame, right? Like standing light kick is great for punishing with lows, but it's not 4 frame fast, right? So if you need a faster button, use this. And sometimes you need to interrupt fixed strings, right? So that's what the 4 frame is going to be used for. And this is your only 4 frame button, and it's the longest reaching 4 frame button. So try to abuse the range if you can, but keep that in mind. If you're gonna always go into the light auto combo, you're just gonna whiff your standing light punch a little bit, and especially if you're not gonna hold forward, you're gonna whiff your not Gladius, lariat as well. And the last normal button we're gonna go over is the sweep. This is a very strong button because it can lead to different setups that you can do. But keep in mind, if you get blocked on this, you're minus 13. So use this wisely, especially in neutral. But if you land this, drive rush forward medium is very strong as a follow-up. So it's not auto-timed, but it is very strong because it pushes you right next to them. Right? It's very strong. And it puts you right next to them. And because you drive rush, it's +5. Therefore, it's strike throw mix up. Okay? That's what it's good for. You can use it pretty early actually instead of late. Right? It's automatic strike throw mix up, and you never want to be in a strike throw mix up with Zangief. Zangief is too scary on knockdown. So this sweep, very good for setting up a Oki situation with this 4 medium. I forgot one last useful button that Zangief has in neutral, which is his standing heavy punch. This button is actually very strong because is this still a fireball? It does. So if you charge it, it has 1 hit of armor. Even if you just charge it slightly, you still get 1 hit of armor. Regardless, it's 1 hit upper body armor. I should correct myself. It's only for upper body, so similar to Gladius. So if you like Gladius, you will also like this move. But the difference is Gladius breaks armor if you charge it. This does not break armor. So if you're charging this and then they DI you as you release it, they can actually just DI you for it, and you will just hit into the DI armor and you will eat the DI. But if they try to DI you while you're charging this, let's see. Oh. When you can just go through DI like that as well. So this 1 hit armor can be very useful, but you will have to time it correctly. But at the same time, it's also not cancelable. As you can see, he didn't turn red. So you're very DI vulnerable at the same time as well. Or if someone is like spamming lights, 4 frame lights low, then, or someone who just likes to spam low, since the armor is only upper body, you'll just eat the low, most likely low forward, drive rush, and then you're just gonna eat the whole combo, right? So be careful when you use this. But it does decent amount of damage. Capcom even buffed this in Season 2. It used to do less damage, I believe it's 1100 or 1000. Now it does 1400 if you fully charge it. So, very good button. It has a lot of range. It goes very far. And like, on round start, you walk, take a little step forward, you can already hit him, right? So, very strong button, decent range, one hit of upper body armor as well, and does decent damage. No complaint whatsoever about this button. For Zangief's special move, we already talked about the Lariat, we talked about the Air SPD, these are your anti-air options. So yeah, Lariat, you will also use it for quite a bit as a combo ender, as you will see in some of the BnB combos I will show you toward the end of the video. But let's go over the other stuff that he has. The ground SPD. This is exactly why you play Zangief, right? Just for SPD. And yes, it actually has 3 different strengths. So if you do the manual 360, you can get light, medium, heavy, with light having the most range. And on modern, the one button is actually the heavy version. It does more damage technically, but since we're on modern using one button, it does less damage than the medium version, I believe. I'm not very good at doing the 360. That's why I play modern. But so yeah, it does less damage than the medium because the medium does 29. It does a little bit more than the light version. So it is the heavy version. So it doesn't have like good range, because the difference between the 3 different strengths besides the damage is the range itself. As you can see right there, I grab from hella far, right? But if I try to grab it from here with heavy, the one button version, it whiffs. Right? Light has a lot of range, but same with OD. OD version, it has a lot of range. The range is between light and medium. It's not as far as the light, but it's quite far, as you can see. Okay? And you can drive rush right after for Oki as well. And your go-to Oki after drive rush is going to be the sweep, actually. So once you land that, you would want to use the sweep as your Oki. But the only thing is, it will lose to crouching light punch if you don't space it out correctly. So keep that in mind when you're trying to go for the Oki after SPD. Because technically there is a gap after SPD, unless you use the light version. Then you have like much better Oki situation. But if you're gonna go for like the one button version, or you're gonna go for the medium OD version, then the drive rush sweep Oki isn't gonna be all that great. And if they know how to counter it, there is definitely a way to counter it. So just so you're aware. And the other special moves that Zangief has is Siberian Express, which, as you can see, he raises his hands. He's going to run full screen no matter how far you are. It will run full screen at your opponent. Okay? But if you're running full screen like this and they get grabbed, then they deserve to get grabbed. But you have all this time to react. Think about it. Right? So it's a very dangerous move to throw out at full screen, but if you're closer, it's much harder to react, right? And if you're like right next to them with the same command, which is back special, you will get Russian suplex instead. This has a built-in side switch, so be careful if you're gonna use it, because you might maybe you want Siberian Express, right? But you might accidentally get Russian suplex instead, and maybe you didn't want a side switch, but then you actually get a side switch because you misjudged the distance. on how you're gonna use the back special, and you end up getting the suplex instead of Russian or Siberian Express, right? The downside of these moves is they're the same command, and you just have to be more aware of the distance between you and your opponent. The Siberian Express actually has two versions, the medium version, which is like mid-range, and then there's like the far range version, which is like half screen away to full screen-ish. And the far version has 1 hit of armor. I don't know how I can demonstrate this, so let's see. Actually, I'm just gonna have Ryu throw a fireball. Okay, so if Ryu throw a fireball, I can just run straight through it, right? It's not very good for reactionary gameplay because even though they throw a fireball, they can still jump afterward. They have plenty of time to react to the Siberian Express, so although you do get 1 hit of armor, it's not that great. So, and especially the Russian suplex, if you're gonna be at this range, you might as well just use SPD. SPD is faster, it does more damage, you get better Oki, so there's not really a reason for you to use Russian suplex. Maybe in like lower level games you will be able to catch people off guard with the Siberian Express because you get armor with it. And if you use the OD version of Siberian Express, it has 2 hits of armor instead of 1 if you don't use OD. So that's the difference between the OD version and the regular version of Siberian Express. But that's pretty much it in terms of Zangief's special moves. On to his auto combo. Zangief's light auto combo is actually fairly decent if it is blocked. The second hit is a frame trap. As you can see, I have Ryu set to doing crouching light punch. So the second hit is a frame trap. And let's say they just block everything, right? The lariat wouldn't come out, so it's very good. You wouldn't be punished because you're also +2 after the second hit. And since this is coming from crouching light kick into standing light punch, it's a true block string as well. So they can't even reversal you out of it as soon as you get the first hit in. And if you're in range for the second hit, you're +2 and you're in great shape. So let's say they didn't press anything and they deemed this distance is not a 4-frame crouching light punch distance, right? Let's say they're gonna press crouching medium kick instead. So let's see what happens with the crouching medium kick, right? It doesn't reach us if you space this correctly, right? If you're right next to them and then you use this, you're gonna get hit with the crouching medium kick. But if you are like near max distance, so you can get your standing light punch in, then the crouching medium kick wouldn't hit you. Okay? And what does this do? This is basically a spacing trap, right? That's what it turns into. If they block the second hit and you're +2 and they decided crouching medium kick, you can crouching medium punch into drive rush into whatever combo you decide to do, right? You can just go into medium auto combo after you cancel. Decent amount of damage, right? So, like auto combo, very good. Medium combo, not so much. Because OD Gladiator would come out. Or OD, I don't know why I keep saying Gladius. I play too much Marissa. OD Lariat will come out, so not only are you wasting bar, you're very negative, not a good situation. Don't use the medium auto combo unless you're confirming something into drive rush cancel, and then if you're gonna use the OD Lariat as an ender. That's the only reason why you do it. But I'm gonna show you other combo routes you can do, so if you want to just completely abandon the medium auto combo route, feel free to do so. It's not that useful because you can also access the crouching medium with just crouching medium, right? You don't need auto medium to do crouching medium. So this combo is not that great. Plus OD layer is just pressing 3 button. It's not hard to do, right? So there's no reason to really use medium auto combo, in my opinion. Lastly, the heavy auto combo. Also not that great because on block, you are guaranteed to use the OD Gladiate as well. So not really a good look, but you still have to use the auto heavy button sometimes because this is the only way you can get this move. Right? Because forward heavy, you cannot get the headbutt out. Auto heavy is the only way you can get it. So you will have to use auto heavy from time to time, unlike the auto medium. But unless you're like completely confirmed into something, like let's say they whiffed a DP or they whiffed something big, right? Then you can go into this and go into level 3. It does 50-60 damage without CA. So it's decent damage. And you don't have to learn a route to use level 3 if you decide to do this, right? So auto combo, very good. Medium combo, garbage. You can just abandon, forget it. Forget its existence, actually, I would just say. And then the heavy auto combo, not the greatest, but usable if you're guaranteed that you're gonna hit something with it, instead of you have to hit confirm the first hit. So otherwise, I would completely avoid using the heavy auto combo in general, unless you just see something with big or you land the DI or something like that. Last thing I want to talk about is the level 2 super art for Zangief. As you can see in the description of Cyclone Lariat, you can choose which direction you can throw by inputting left or right during the throw, but you can also hold down the special button in order to change the effect of the super. So what does that mean? So if I don't do anything and do level 2 super, it's gonna do the Cyclone, he's gonna yell jackhammer and slam down your opponent, right? But if you hold the super, you're gonna launch them into the air, which you can juggle off of that as well. But take a note of the damage as well. If I don't choose the direction which way is gonna go, you do 29 or 25-28, right? But let's say I choose to hold right, so I can keep the position on the screen, right? Especially like if you're in the corner and you land, let's say you're just waiting for him to throw a fireball and your reaction level 2, right? Instead of letting him side switch because you didn't choose a direction, instead of side switching and put yourself in the corner for a little bit more damage, because it's not gonna kill, so you would rather sacrifice a little bit of damage to keep him in the corner. Right? You lose out about what, 60 damage? 80 damage ish? It's not a lot. But if you also choose to hold the level 2, you do basically no damage with it, right? You only did 800 damage, so you need to like spend bar to follow up for it. What you can do is you can do Hell Stab. What I know is you can definitely get an air SPD out of it. Right? If you spend 2 bar, you do 3k. So you do slightly more damage than just letting the level 2 rip. And obviously this is raw, so if you're gonna combo into the level 2, there's some scaling involved. But at the end of the day, if you are willing to spend bars after the level 2, you will do more damage than just letting the level 2 jackhammer do the damage. So if you look at like some of the combo sheets or like some combo video when they call for level 2 jackhammer, is to literally not hold anything and let him say jackhammer. That's what the jackhammer level 2 is. But that's all for this video. Hope you learned something about Zangief and go grab some people in the streets. And until next time, it's time to nod off.